Yes. Okay, so whoever has joined, we will go with that and we will start. And today's agenda, today's lecture, I will be taking up the chapter, The Call of the Soil. Then let me see if time permits, I will take up the poem, The Sower also, which is remaining to be explained. And I will take up right now The Call of the Soil, which is chapter number 1.3 of your textbook, page number 25, starting from page number 25. So are you all ready with your textbook, all of you? Have you all taken your textbooks out, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good. So let us start the chapter with the author. As I always do, you should know a little bit about with due respect to the author. Here your author is Venkat Iyer, who was born in 1966 and was a science graduate. Just look at his transition. He was a science graduate and a certified project management professional. He last worked in IBM Mumbai as a project manager for software implementation. And after 17 years in the IT industry, children, I am reading from page number 26. Whatever is given about the author, only that much is important for you. And this will give us a vivid knowledge about what Venkat Iyer was really and what he is now. So we will first know a little bit about him. So 17 years he was in the IBM Mumbai as a project manager. He quitted his job 2004 to live on his organic farm. He wanted to live on his own organic farm, 2004, in Peth village in Dhanu Taluka, Palghar district. So that was his dream. He wanted to live in his own organic farm. And he has written a book on it also. How did he make this transition and what did he gain from this transition? This name of the book, The Moong over Microchips. Microchips, of course, is his IBM word. 17 years where he had dedicatedly given his service there. And his transition from a tech to a farmer over a period of 15 to 17 years. It was not a career change, but a lifestyle change. He doesn't call it a change of career. He did not turn from a technology to a farmer. So that was not a career change. He just gave a lifestyle change. He wanted to live in an organic cultivation, feed on all these organic types of food. So that was his main intention, which he desired to do that always. It was, he says that about his decision to shift from a quitter environs of a village, and he insisted on practicing organic farming from the outset. He was resolute in spite of numerous challenges which he faced. He never wanted to give up. He faced a lot of challenges. He in the beginning he was demotivated by the youngsters, the younger generation, that he should not go for this type of cultivation, take something else, but he did not give up. Then finally he saw success and he joined hands with organic farmers and NGOs working in organic field to propagate organic farming and to ensure that the land at least is not ravaged while they try to make a living out of this agriculture. So the land is not spoiled when they are making to leaving out of this agriculture. So they decided all of this, and finally your writer is here giving us the story, The Call of the Soil. So let us come directly to the chapter. Your writer, Venkat Iyer, is very happy describing he's standing on his own farm. He wants to express his happiness. He just wants to express his happiness by saying that how was he feeling standing and seeing the first cultivation in his farm, first cultivation in his farm were the grains of this moong which he had planted. It was, please remember the years, children. It was April 2004. He stood in the middle of the lush green field of moong. Have you ever seen a moong field? Yes, children. Did you see a moong field? No? No one had seen. Okay, don't worry, I will show you. Yeah, can you see this which I'm presenting in the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so this is the Moong plant. When it is growing, it is not a tree, it is a plant, but it is not a shrub also, it is a plant. And it grows to some extent, to 2 meters. It is just very small, but you have these thin lines. You can see a Moong which comes out. These are the green pods foliage. So he was standing in this farm and looking at this Moong cultivation all around, which spread it in his farm. And he was feeling so happy. He was very, very happy to see something which he had grown was now coming out. It was having fruits. So he was walking around. There was the huge trees, and which was this trees of chiku trees, which was giving shade to the small plants, which had already grown in dense foliage of the Moong cultivation. So everywhere there was this Moong cultivation around, and the chiku trees were the long ones giving shade to this small plants, that is your green pods. At that point, he couldn't have asked for anything more because he was so very happy. He just couldn't have thought of anything else rather than feeling his expressed his feeling of happiness looking at whatever he planted was now having fruits. Green pods were hanging out. It was not yet ripe. It has not dried up. Just green color. Just small babies have come out of the seeds. But have you ever seen the happiness when you grow something and you see it fruiting? You feel so much happy. You feel so contented by seeing that what you have planted is also having some fruits, or flowers. Flowers come out. You just see, become so very personal, and you say that no, don't touch. This is my plant. I did a lot of hard work, and now I can see flower in it and fruit in it. So please don't touch. It is my plant. So you have taken steps and made it grow like a baby, and now when you're seeing the fruits and the flowers, you're so excited. So that was how he was feeling at that moment. He stood and watched in the sunrise, but waiting there, he was thinking the first day when he got the land, and he took suggestion from his broker who had given him this land. The name, please remember the names, children. Now, the first name which I'll mention is the name of the broker he meets, and the broker gives him suggestion. The name of the broker was Murudha. Murudha had given him ideas that which plant he should grow. He wanted to grow rice in his field, but Murudha said that no, you should go for Moong cultivation. So he took to Murudada's advice and he went to Surat, which is nearby in Gujarat, just near Maharashtra in Gujarat, and he bought 10 kilograms of Moong and sowed it all around. Excuse me. So he sowed those Moong plants, and after a few days, he was overjoyed to see the tiny green leaves coming up. He just could not express his happiness. He gives another example. The same way he was happy when he was in Mumbai in the railway quarters with his father, and he got a chance to grow a plant. And there he was very happy. And which plant did he had grown there? It was the hibiscus plant, which he had grown for the first time as a boy in Mumbai when he used to stay with his parents in the railway quarters. So this hibiscus plant, when he had grown and he could see the hibiscus flower growing there, he was so happy. So that same happiness he felt right now standing on his farm, seeing the Moong cultivation, completely the land flooded with Moong. And everywhere, wherever his eyes could go, he could see the Moong cultivation. So then finally, he says that Morudada's one point he had deferred in the when Morudada had advised that they should go for fertilizers because this plant green pods had started coming up, the thick foliage was there. To protect it, they should go for pesticides and fertilizers. But your writer differed here with Morudada. He said that I will not use any chemicals in my farm. I will not use a single thing. If my farm doesn't grow, it's fine. Morudada said, you are just doing harakiri, that is just putting, you are just trying to spoil your own farm with your own hands. You are just stepping and destroying your own farm with your own hands by not using pesticides. What kind of a thing it is that you don't want to use pesticides? Please do use it, so your plants will flourish. So, but your writer said that no chemicals in my farm. I will not use a single chemical in my farm. I will grow it without using chemical. I will take care of it. I will sit extra time and take care of it so that my plants does not have any sort of other attacking of other pests. So that was where he differed from Morudada. Rather than that, he is very happy that finally he could see 300 kilograms of moong dal right in front of him. When it got ripened up, the moong dal, all the foliage, it was collected, and he got, out of 10 kgs, he got 300 kgs of moong. So he was very, very happy and contented. And he understood one thing. And what was that one thing? That his farm was very, very fertilized, already nature fertilized, and it was a fertile soil, and any cultivation it would grow very, very nicely. So your writer decided that he will take it very nicely, and the next year when it comes, see, I told you the chapter is divided into two parts. The call of the soil is just divided into two sections, the first crop and the scent of rice. Two sections are there. Of course, the subheading of call of the soil is scent of rice. So coming to the scent of rice, the first year your writer had, remember, he had taken a decision he will plant rice. But because of Morudada's advice, and probably he was late also in collecting the seeds for growing rice, he had to go for moong cultivation. Now, finally, he had now the chance to start the next year. Variety was short term and recommended by agriculture. So next year we decided that we could start early. So next year, that is 2005, they decided that they will start planting, because last year they had grown in the second season, because moong grows for 6 months, and for 6 months they had planted this rice G4, which is not a very good quality, GR4, which grows very quickly, the rice, it goes up. So he did not like it. But now he decided that going to the next time, next year, April 2005, I'm right now in page number 28, children. So April 2005, he started looking out for good and traditional rice. Now, from where he will get this? It was one of our neighbors in the village, a businessman from Mumbai who owned a land, who suggested that we plant a local scented variety of rice. Most farmers, he told that, why don't you go for the local scented, local village rice? And most farmers in and around the village of Peth, where he was staying, had switched over to hybrids. They had given up the natural ones and this went to hybrids. The younger generation was actually feeling very crazy that, why do you want the traditional way of farming? People are now shifting to the modern technology and you want to go back to the traditional one. So he did not like those answers at all, but he did not bother. He was not bothered that people will be saying. But he wanted to grow in the organic way and the traditional rice seeds he wanted. So he went on meeting villagers, especially the old peoples, because they would have good ideas. So the oldest of the old of the village started visiting and meaning. And finally, the last visit was with Baban's father and some more elders. They sat together and decided that they will be talking about this rice, which is the best rice, which was once upon a time the best rice, because they were all farmers. And remember, your writer is not a farmer. He is from the tech farm, but he is now learning because he wants to grow organic cultivation. So as a result, he is in the process of learning. He is visiting the farmers in the village, especially the older generation, and sitting and talking with them and asking them which is the best quality of rice that can be grown. After plenty of conversation, they come to one name, all the old people in the village. That is the name of Kasbai. Kasbai is, the meaning is given there. What is this Kasbai? It's a traditional long grained rice variety which has a distinct aroma, though much milder than basmati. It is having a different aroma, which you might have got the aroma of basmati rice. We know it comes out till various long levels on areas of land. But basmati rice is having a different aroma, and kasbai is having a different aroma, which is little less than the basmati rice. So the kasbah is the traditional long grained. The grains are, each grains are very long. So they said it is a long duration this was that it is a long duration crop. It does not grow in just probably a year to get the crops. So that is why also people were not going for it. I asked them about the seeds, and of course, the seeds, they just told that we don't have any seeds of kasbai because we no longer grow it. The tales of kasbai was making your writer more interesting. He started liking it. Can you all hear? Students, can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, because in between there was some loss of connection. I don't know, suddenly it went out. Interesting. Okay. So now moving ahead, we were doing about this rice. People had forgotten about this rice. Remember another name which I told you, he met Baban's father. First, we had Morudada. Who was Morudada children? Morudada was the broker who gave him the land and also suggested to go for Moong cultivation, for which he had got good cultivation also. So that was the first one character which we got to know, who got associated with the main character, your writer Venkatayar. Then the next one was Baban's father and the many other old villagers who mentioned about this quality of rice, but they said that they did not have a single rice seed to give it to him. Then coming to Kasbai, the tales of Kasbai attracted the writer. Your writer wanted to know more of it. So he thought that the best way is to go to the agricultural office, agri office, so that a government office wherein he would find out some more information about the kasbai, or probably they might be having the seeds of kasbai. So he would buy it from them. He was very sure that he would be cultivating the kasbai plants. So he did not wait at all. He went directly to the government office, agricultural office, and talked with the officers. But the officers too were blank. He had not even heard of this rice variety. He said that the villagers were just making fool of him, and the villagers just were pulling his legs. There was nothing like that called kasbai and all. So just imagine the ignorant agricultural people. They didn't even knew about it because it was long time back. So then finally he thought that it was wastage. The government told you can take this rice, that rice. He rattled off with so many names of rice. But your writer felt that it was just wastage of time because he wanted to know about Kasbah. But he did not get any information. So finally he decided, remember, he's moving from village to village, from person to person, especially the old peoples of every village is meeting and talking to them about the best quality of rice. One, he found it out about Kasbai. Now he wanted to know more about Kasbai and where he will get the seeds. So finally he came to the Adivasi Mahamandal. So that is the Adivasi Mahamandal where all the Adivasis sit together. at Kasa, which buys rice from the Adivasi villages. So this Mahamandal is a huge community of all the Adivasis. They come there, and these Adivasi people buys the rice from all the Adivasis. Adivasis, why they are called Adivasis? Because they're still maintaining the traditional ways of living. They did not bring around village progress in their village, and they wanted to stay as they are. So that is why they are called Adivasis. So it was time now on behalf for that Adivasi village to get from them. He started talking with those people. However, the officer in charge had more knowledge of rice and did remember Kasbah being sold to him few years ago. So the officer, the main person, other Adivasis did not know, but the main officer said that yes, some years ago I got this Kasbah rice from one of the villages of the Adivasis. So when I was in Dhanivri, Baban and I started looking for Devu Handa. Now another one more person they were looking for. Devu Handa was again an old man wearing an old cap. Again, the name of the village, Dhanivri. So please remember the name of the village which we are talking about. So that is there, the village. Can you all hear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. And you all are understanding up till here, is it clear to all of you? You can put it in the chat box also, so that I can come back to that portion once again. Now we are in Dhanivri village, that is where the Adivasi stayed. And Baban and I decided to meet Devu Handa. He was again an old man of those Adivasi village. Devu Handa was an ex. What happened? Why people are leaving? Is there any network issues? So Devihanda was actually the ex-sarpanch of the village. He had a huge land, and your writer, when he went there, he directly came to the topic of Kasbai. And he told when Devu Handa heard about the topic of Kasbai, he became very, very nostalgic. He remembered about the past. He said that, yes, I know about Kasbai cultivation. Our village was involved in cultivating this always, most of the time. But now no one knows about it. It is like pages have been turned. But it was such a nice smell when the harvesting season would come. The whole village would be flooded with that kasbai smell. Everywhere there would be smell around. And he claimed he had to force himself to eat this rice. That was so insipid. That is, right now he is eating the hybrid rice, which he does not even like. Insipid. Insipid means tasteless, colorless, and there is no use of eating this type of rice in compared to kasbai rice, which he used to eat once upon a time. So then with the advent of irrigation, the farmers were tempted to grow two crops in a time so that they can earn more for their livelihood. So your writer is telling you cannot blame to the crop. You have left the crop. The crop did not leave you. So you cannot blame it as a ex this thing, Sarpanch of the village, you should have encouraged the Kasbai. As a result, Kasbai is getting lost from everywhere. So the Sarpanch said that, see, it's not exactly where as you are feeling, because if I would have grown, Kasbah grows for 1 year. It takes 1 year. I told you it's a long period of harvesting and sowing. So it takes 1 year, whereas the other farmers have all shifted to grow 2 plants in a year, 6 months crops. So they would after their harvesting is over for 6 months, they would have left their cattle in my farm so that they could, feed on those growing kasbais. So as a result, my farm would be completely devastated. Why they would send their cattle to his farm? Because their farm is completely empty. After 6 months of cultivation, they keep 1 month empty so that the fertility of the soil increases. So as a result, what will the cows feed on? The cows will obviously feed on the Sarpanch's village cultivation, that is the Kasbai. So the Sarpanch at the end of 1 year will get nothing. So as a result, Sarpanch said, I too had to forcefully leave the growing of Kasbai plants. And he was lamenting that we had to do it. He is giving another example. He's telling, I still remember how firm was this Kasbai plants, rice plants. There was a flood in the 60s. When the flood came, it had flown away all the crops from the land. But even the farmers and the villagers had to run away to higher levels to protect themselves. But what remains firm and steady? It was the Kasbai rice plants. When they came back after the floods were over, the rains were over, they came back. What did they see? The house and all was devastated. But what was there for them? Kasbai rice plants. So they got their rice plants full ready. It did not get washed off. So it was very thick and strong. So your writer says that, see, we are very much inquisitive on getting the seeds. We don't want to hear any more stories about your flashback. We know, we have understood right now that Kasbai is very, very important. So then he says that, please tell us, where can we get the seeds? So according to him, he says that right now in my village, you will not get. Dhanavari is nothing is there. According to him, the only people who still grew this were the Adivasis in a hamlet in the foothills of the mountains in the next village of Asavari. So obviously your writer had to jump and quickly go to Asavari village. Devuhanda is there with him. They always told bye-bye to him, and Devuhanda, of course, blessed them with Mahalakshmi, the local goddess, will give you the seeds of Kasbai. That was the blessing that, yes, you will be blessed with the seeds of Kasbai. In Asavari village, we asked the Sarpanch to help. And then he said, the Sarpanch said that, okay, I will help you. So he gave another person, children, another name, Jeevan. Jeevan was given by the Sarpanch of Asavari village. And who was this Jeevan? Jeevan was the translator for your writer and his friend Baban, who were going to collect this Kasbai seeds. So Jeevan took them walking into the very, very conditioned, more inside and deeper inside in a village, a small hamlet. Hamlet is a small village. So they took him there to Boripada. That's the name of the village. Children, please mark it in your textbook, page number 30, last paragraph. Boripada is the name of the village, and Jeevan is the name of the person or the translator who will be talking in Adivasi language. You know, your writer cannot speak in Adivasi language. He is Venkat Iyer, and remember, he's from the tech world. So Adivasi language is not his cup of tea. So he needed a translator or a mediator in between. And Jeevan brought him in front of this old lady who was totally shackled in rags, sitting down, wrinkled face and everything. And finally, your writer didn't want to waste time. He directly said that, do you have this grains of this? I want the seeds of this. So the old woman was laughing and told in their local language that yes, she had. But then why would she give it to him? So, and what was the reason? And from which village did he come? So, of course, the writer told, remember, there's a translator in between. So the writer told that they had come from Peth village and he needed 10 kilograms of the rice. So this old woman, first of all, laughed and said that, I have never heard of this Peth village. Your writer was very excited. As soon as the old woman said that, yes, she's having the seeds, but why would she give him? In which condition? So he said that I needed 10 kilograms and he was ready to pay. The old woman got furiated. He said that 10 kilograms? What do you think? How will I understand? What is this 10 kilograms? Remember, they're Adivasis. I told you they're away from progress. They had not seen any measurements, anything. They are still into that barter system. They are doing it with baskets, one basket, two basket, like that. And your writer had no idea that these people did not knew about 10 kilograms, 1 kilogram. So he said, I want quickly 10 kilograms of it. And the old woman was furiated. She said that, no, I will not give. I will give you only basket. So I can give you, I don't have any weighing scale. So I don't want also any weighing scale. So I will give the seeds only in baskets. Then your writer said, okay, fine, fair enough. You give me one basket of seeds. So he gave, then finally he bought that one basket of rice, Kasbah rice, and gave to that old lady 100 rupee note. Now the lady was very happy looking at that 100 rupee note. She had never in a lifetime seen. Remember, she is very old, but she's never seen. She's so very happy, and smile comes out from her face. Your writer said after so much time, they could see a very, very normal smile coming out from her face. So he too was happy. The old woman was nodding. Yes, okay, take any more you want, you can take from me. So the writer was also happy. He took one basket of rice, Kasbai rice from that old Adivasi from Boripara village. Remember that village also, children, Boripara village. And finally, he left for his own village, Peth, where he was staying. And he had only one thing in mind, which he wanted to share. Finally, he ends the chapter with that our real India lives with this Adivasis, lives in the villages with the farmers. If we want to see real India, we should go here. So simple they are. Progress has not reached them, but still they are so kind at heart, ready to help, ready to take your side and favor you always. So they were very, very happy to share this good, and your writer too was also very happy listening to the story. So did you understand the call of the soil? Finally, he took up, your writer Venkatayar, taken up this call of the soil. So any doubt, you can now quickly put it on in the chat box, or else if you have understood, please let me know. Have you all understood? Is it clear, the full chapter, Call of the Soil by Venkatayar? I tried to make it very small, and especially from English to English explanation, it is difficult to give, but still I have tried to make it more precise, the chapter, and make you all understand. But last, before ending, I want to show you all the Kasbai rice, how it looked like. See, this is the Kasbai rice. Can you all see that? See the grains, how big it is. That's the grain of the Kasbai rice. It looks like this. Understood, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts? Chat box, nothing is there in the chat box. I want to see something. Yes, understood. Shivan is told, understood. Any doubts, any other doubts, please put it in the chat box so that I can take it up later on and explain you all. And at least let me know next which chapter I should come up with the explanation which is remaining. And remember, I am trying to make it very, very short, the explanation, and very conveniently, which will help you to solve your activity sheets in blink of an eye. By knowing the chapter, you will be saving your time. Without knowing the chapter, you cannot do the activity sheet on the spot. You cannot calculate and write down the answers. If the story is clear, the characterization, the plot is clear. Just now I told you so many names. I hope you all remember the names. Charlie, what was the name of the broker? Cretan Charlie. Yeah, Cretan Charlie. What was the name of the broker? You'll have the textbook in right in front of you. So you can tell me the name by looking into the textbook also. Sean, can you tell me? So Charlie is not able to tell. Sean, can you tell me the name of the broker? You can write it in the chat box also. No one is ready to tell, so no one knows, I think. So did you all understand the characters, first of all, because that is very important, children. Murudha, yes, Shivan had told. Murudha, yes, correct, absolutely, Shivan. That is Murudha, that's the broker. And then finally they get idea from the next person who gives him the idea, that is Baban's father, who was one of the elderly person of the village. That is another character. Then from there, Baban's father and the other elders gives him an idea about this name they get Kasbah from Baban's father. Excuse me. Then he went to the agricultural farm to collect more information, and these people were completely useless. They didn't give him a single information. Then he went to the Adivasis Mahamandal at Kasa village, wherein they got little information, and they thought that they will again visit the oldest people of the Adivasis, that is Devuhanda, and they visited him and got again more information about Kasbai, that it is not a dream and not that the villagers are just playing tricks with him. So Devuhanda was the Sarpanch of the village, and he told a lot of information. He said now his village does not grow Kasbai at all, but there is another Adivasi, that is the Asavri village, that you can go there and get. And in Asavri village, he met the Sarpanch, and the Sarpanch gave him assistance. Who was the assistance? Jeevan, another character. So finally, with the help of Jeevan, he gets the Kasbai plan. So please remember the names. Okay, children? Any doubts?